Well, hello and welcome to NXG Markets. This is Mohsen Ismail, and welcome to the weekly analysis of Forex market. Well, it's going to be a very important week because this week we are starting into this month of July. So this video is going to be very, very important. I want you to certainly concentrate on whatever we try to discuss, because every point is going to matter in terms of the fluctuation, in terms of the understanding of the market as well. So let's get straight into this and try and understand as to what Forex has in this coming week or the month. Now, because we are starting on with the new month of July, that is why this video is a little more important than most of the videos, because here we try to analyze the entire month as it is the starting of the month, what might happen, what might not, and just try to be safe, because after all it is the real money that we invested, correct? So well, let's begin with the analysis and we go further from there. Okay, so first things first, where we come is of course the fundamental aspects. Now, even before I move into the economic calendar that we are looking at, I think it is very important for everyone to know that there has been a deal on 27th of June between China and the United States of America in terms of the transactions, in terms of the import-export. So this is a very important news which we cannot escape out, because this is where a lot of money gets involved into, right? When we talk about the import-export, especially with China and US in terms of businesses, it is very, very huge. So this might have a little bit of impact as well, as we know that US in past month has played a very important role in making a lot of decisions and also making a lot of actions in terms of whether it is the Israel Gaza war or Israel Iran war. Very predominantly it has tried to voice out every detail and in terms of what US is trying to do. And this is what I believe is where we have to also look into, is because all these powerful influential people, what they speak, it matters the most in terms of the market fluctuation, correct? Now, so as we see this week, there is not a lot of important news except for Wednesday, which is 9th of July, and then on 10th of July. So we've got FOMC meeting minutes and the unemployment claims, which is going to be the two very important, high impact, high volatility news for Wednesday and Thursday. Apart from that, as we see that on Monday, Tuesday and on Friday, there is not much of a news. So what means by this is this week it can be very technical, and all the technical players out there, I think they would understand when I say that when it's technical analysis, then you got to be really very careful. And this is what makes this video so very important, is because this video can be really very good from the swing trading point of view, is because we can see a very good range and then going up and down. Now, what are those ranges is something that we're going to discuss and look upon, right? Well, I have told you about China and US into the into the deal that they have. This video can be a little bit of lengthy as compared to the other videos. However, because it is the start of the month, that is the reason why this makes this video so very important for everyone to know as to what might happen in the month. So you be careful with your investment in your backup, your holding power, because you might require it. And this coming week being a very technical week, except for Wednesday and Thursday, which we know that there's going to be a lot of the important news. So you got to be really very careful and keep your money safe at the same time. Well, all our condolences are with the people who have lost and who have been injured in the Texas for the flood, and we pray that they get recovered very soon. But this is a natural disaster which can certainly impact the United States, and certainly will, for them to recover from this stage. And of course, all the lives that has been lost, which cannot be recovered, all our empathy and sympathy along with them. May they recover, and may their soul rest in peace, and may America recover very soon with this natural disaster which has happened. Right, we have got Elon Musk saying that he is launching his new political party, though this might not certainly might not impact a lot right now, but we have to also consider this from the future perspective, which it can make a huge impact on the dollar index, for that matter. Now, apart from that, very important news is this: last month there was a summit in Brazil which was about BRICS, which we all know that we have got Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa coming together to form BRICS, to have an alternative currency in terms of dollar, to make the dollar value low. They did have a summit in Brazil just last month, end of the month, which again can impact DXY onto the chart. So this is where I believe that we need to certainly focus on, is because if we try to understand the dollar index, then we can also understand the rest of the currencies and the rest of the pairs, even for that matter gold and silver too. So that is why it is so very important. Now, coming to the most important part, as we all discussed, as to what might be important today, and that is this technical analysis, which I want you to concentrate, because we are starting from the candlestick pattern of monthly. Right, now here's the thing: if I look at this point, right, the market in the month of June and market in the month of May, we had this point wherein, if we look at this 3287 point, market in the month of May, we see that the sellers were very, very strong. Yes. And in the month of June, buyers were very, very strong. Yeah. Now this gives you a story. This gives you something to understand and to focus and to evaluate, so we can make the right decision when we trade. Is because Forex is not just about what you do daily, but what you can figure out for your rest of your month and the years to pass by. Yeah. And that is what it matters the most. So now if you look at, because in the month of May there were sellers which were very, very strong, in the month of June it was buyers very, very strong, and still market came down. It pulled back down. Yes, it did touch the range of 3437, fell down again and closed below. Now in the month of July, which started from 1st, of course, we see that there is a bullish candle which is getting formed in this first 6 days, right? However, very, very important, I want you to focus this, even if though the video is a little lengthy, because we are going in detail, because it is the start of the month, like I said earlier. And I'm saying this is because it is very important for everyone, as we know, and a professional trader would certainly let you know this, is because you need to know the entire month of the understanding. So if we look at the trend line on a monthly basis, it is at a very, very close point, right? And this is what we are going to understand slowly and gradually. So I want your patience and concentration right on the screen, because all that we are trying to do is just trying to assist in giving the best of the information that we can collect, all powered by NXG Markets. Once again, please make sure that you have, I will be putting up a link to register in order for you to get subscribed to our premium features absolutely free. Of course, we don't charge you for anything, just a registration, and while you're along with us, we can certainly grow together is what the intention is going to be. Yes, so when we move on to the weekly analysis, as we see over here, you would understand it better, and so on and so forth when we move on to the daily and the 4 weekly. This is the trend line, which is very, very important for us to understand. Yes, and this weekly is where we know that this is the place. Even if it is going high, it has to minimum touch down at a very, very important level of 3370 and 3393. A very important level. This is going to be a testing period, because this, if it gets rejected from here, this is where then we might see gold taking the correction further to, for this correction to meet and go towards the 3171 or 3248. But how is it that it is going to happen is something that we can understand this in a daily chart. So please make sure that you try and concentrate on the daily chart, because this is going to be very, very important for everyone to understand. Now, let's understand this from the point of view of how this can, figure out. Let me just see. Now, as we see over here, there is a good pattern of a head and shoulder that can get formed. Yes. Now, this is something which is very, very important for us to know. Right? Now, let's understand this as to how this is going to be. Now, if you look from here, it started, it went down, it went up, right? It touched over here. This is where the head came into the picture. Okay. Now, if you look at this point right here, it is to complete the head and shoulder. It is very, very important for it to touch this level which we spoke about of 3382 to 3390 to 93. Yeah, the moment if it touches here and if it gets rejected from here, that is when you can expect it to fall down, because then it will certainly reject. It will not get rejected here, though this this trend line is very, very strong. And I'm saying this again, this trend line is very, very strong. It will try to defend it. Okay, so it might try to defend, but this is where you can see the market going down to 3248 back again, and then we have a further down to 3173. Now, this is what might happen if gold falls down after touching the 3390 mark again, in order to complete the right head and shoulder. Yes, and this, how does this depend? How would we understand if this is going to happen? Now, let's understand this on a 4-hour basis, because this is where you can understand this from a very good point of view. Now, when we say this, that this trend line is so very strong and it will be very defensive, and it depends on the number of sellers. If the sellers become active and they become strong. Now, this is where I think we can see this happening in this coming week. However, it is very, very important, because the Monday, Friday, and the Wednesday is going to be the day where you will understand this and would be able to make this decision really nice. Now, on Monday, when the market starts, this is what you have to focus on. Where does the market start with? With a gap up. If the market is on a gap, starts with a gap up somewhere over here, that is 3348 or 440, 3340 or somewhere. Okay, if it starts with a gap up, then the market can go a little high to 3375 and 3374 and so on, right? And from there, it might just give its rejection towards the trend line to test it again very strongly, depending on the seller getting it. However, if the market falls down or starts with a gap down, yes, if the market starts with a gap down, now this is where you have to be very careful and understand that if it rejects, then it will certainly try and reach this 3248 and cross this line. And the moment it crosses this trend line, you have your confirmation right there that it is going down for the correction. Okay, now this might be possible in this particular week, which we might look into. And if you look at the hourly basis as well, it will give you a better picture. Yes, that we have this gap to fill, which is a very strong gap of 3311. 3312 has been a very good support at this point in time, and if it crosses that, then it will certainly go off to reach this 3280 mark of the trend line to test it, and if it rejects, it might go further down. Now this is where the entire ball game changes, is because this is where we can understand that the market has taken the trend downwards in order to do the correction, and then that is where the buying opportunity for all the swing trader might enter in. That reminds me of one important thing to tell you and inform you about is always remember this, that gold or silver, okay, always remember this, that we right now, considering the situation, we have to consider the buy situation to take over, because every time we have to look for the buy position to open, the long position to open. However, where do we have to open this long position is what matters the most, because the moment we realize that it is the long position that we have to move on to and we have to take, and there can be a few short positions that we can just make it away from it. Now this is where you have to understand that yes, then this is the period where we have to take this position down, right, and remove and come out of the sell position as quick as possible. So if you look at it from this point of view, even the market is going down, and if we open up a sell position, our intentions in our mind has to be that we will try and close the position of the short positions as soon as possible and make sure that we buy from the dip, we buy from where the market has fallen down. So we have to know this range, and this range, as we saw, which we have discussed and which we saw, is this range that you see over here of 3249 and 3170 being a very strong buy position again. Now understand one thing, that the market goes above, and of course we have the range of 3437 and 3502. 3502 being a very far range. However, we have 3437 where it can certainly touch and get rejected back again for you to cross this trend line, which is getting closer to this particular thing, to this particular point of 3437. So this is what you got to keep in mind, and make sure that you trade accordingly, because it's again the same thing, the real investment that we are trying to keep it safe, and that is what we need to understand and figure it out. Yeah, so market might, even if it's going above, make sure that you from here you can get a very good sell position. From here we can get a very good sell position, and always think about the long-term trading, because that is what is going to save your money from what you have, depending on what the backup that you hold on to, right? And if you're putting on your sell position, you have this range to be careful about of 3319 and 3312, and then if it crosses, then we have this very powerful support right here of 3247 and a very strong support at 3174, from where you can look at a long-term swing trade of buy for a very long period then. And that is what matters the most. Now, I believe of whatever we have discussed is something that you have understood, And if not, that you can put it in the comment section so we can answer it, and we can make another video instantly and just upload it so it can be an answer, because we on a daily basis we always try to figure out and try to focus more on the 1 hour 15 minutes 1 minute section as to when would be the right time. And I would also personally try on Monday to bring out the live video so that we can understand as to this would be the right time, so you can always hold on before making any decision, as Monday till Wednesday is a very good observational period for any market, and Thursday and Friday is when you try and understand and make the decision, right? However, certainly you can always trade as well during this time, provided you know what the range is, which we have discussed. Do not make hasty decisions, always, and I always focus on this point, because this is certainly the most valuable thing, as it deals with the most valuable thing that we have in our account, and that is money, right? So that is all that I have for you today. You have a wonderful day and a great life. Enjoy trading. Make sure that you be safe and enjoy your life too. Thank you. Have a nice day, and thank you for being a part with NXG Markets. Please do like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you get the updates on a daily basis. Thank you.